Hey everyone, it's Kenlin, and welcome back to my channel for the Astro and Energy Report. Today we're going to focus on the new moon in Leo and do an activation, a transmission for this incredibly powerful new moon in Leo. So where is Leo in your chart? Full sign astrology, put your rising sign in the first house and work counterclockwise in the zodiac. So mine is in the fourth house. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen because fourth house is home. And as you may know, I've been totally nomadic with different homes all around the place, from Austin to Ridgeway to Boulder and then Denver after Telluride. It's crazy. I don't really recommend digital nomad life, but it is fun to try it out for a little bit. So we'll see what happens to me. And I want to know what happens to you with this very potent Leo new moon. So here's the deal. It's on the 24th of July at 2 degrees 8 minutes. And we're going to find that that 2-degree point is so important right now. And what that really means is 0, 1, 2 degrees, the very beginning of something. So let's placeholder that as we dive into what are some of the themes of this new moon. And I made a list that's not astrological. So for those of you who don't really know astrology, and every time I talk about angles and degree points, you're lost, I'm going to talk about themes as well. So stay tuned. And then let's do a little bit of an activation of our future self at the end. I've been doing a lot of that lately because that's what I'm teaching inside of the Reinvent Code, the Wise Women Mastermind, the last masterclass I did on Uranus and Gemini. We really need to bring in our future self, and let's placeholder that too. So this new moon happening on July 24th, 2 degrees 8 minutes, is potent because it's opposing Pluto retrograde. So right there, we already know that something is going to have to go in order for the new to come. So it could be some kind of a power struggle, some kind of a sacrifice. This opposition might bring something from the outside that has you make a different decision. So keep that in mind wherever you're finding your new moon. Hold on a second. I just want to make sure, yes, and the recording is working. And so the other thing that's happening is a trine. So some good energy from Saturn and Neptune, who are both retrograde in Aries, a fellow fire sign. So those are cardinal, that's a cardinal fire sign, whereas Leo is a fixed fire sign. So that's why that energy, that Leonic energy, is so powerful, so strong. If you've ever seen a Leo walk into the room, right? They're like, over here. You remember that video that went viral of this little girl dancing on stage, and her parents were not paying attention. And she was just pointing at herself, and she was pointing at them, point here. Look at me, parents. And that's a very Leonic energy. And so let's talk about how you can shine. This is about shining. And so whatever it was, whatever it has been that we've been letting go of, we're in a massive collective and individual rebirth, reinvention is what I'm calling it. There's a lot to let go of, because clearly the old systems, the rules we played by, and let me give you an example of like the rules we played by. You know, in the lawyer world that I came from, there were lots of rules around doing things online. Same with health, because there was this fear around privacy. But as soon as 2020 hit, those things went out the window. So were they really ever true? Well, not really. They were just convenient and people didn't want to try to figure it out. But now with so much chaos and things crashing, and we can't really rely on the old systems and structures, maybe even like Social Security. So if you're a person who's aging, you might have questions. Is that kind of a system going to survive? We don't know. But this Leo new moon is going to ask you to get sovereign. So that's going to be the first piece of what does this new moon have for you? The first one is lead with your sovereignty. So leading with your sovereignty means that we are transmuting, alchemizing our victim consciousness, and we all have it. But if you've been on the spiritual path for a while, you've caught yourself when you say things like, that person made me do this. That situation made me do that. I didn't have any power. They did that. If you're speaking like that still, you will really want to transform it under this new moon. Really make a pledge to yourself. We've come so far. I mean, think about our ancestors. Think about how much power they thought they didn't have, most of them, and how that's a whole new framework. We're working with a whole new framework. We don't think things like that anymore, at least in the conscious community. So here's your opportunity to really get on it and be sovereign. Sovereign has this degree of being responsible for your life, but responsible in a very high vibrational responsibility. What does that really mean? Well, it means that it's a grace, that we are extended a grace, that you have a say in the matter, that even if you've been dealt a hand, you have a say how you show up in that. I was just thinking today about a pattern that I have that I inherited from my mother that I don't really love. And I was feeling like a victim a little bit, not like, oh, poor me, but just I could feel that I was internally blaming her for that. And then I realized actually she got it from somewhere else, and they got it from somewhere else, and they got it from somewhere else. And the way that it stops is if I choose out of it. And that's a lot of work, to be honest. It is a lot of work because it's like it was a subconscious pattern. When you feed that to a child between the ages of utero and 6 or 7 years old, it's like they're a sponge. It goes right into the hard wiring. And if we're conscious, if we're awake, if I am, I can make some choices out of it. I'm already light years different, but I still notice that it comes up. You know what I'm talking about? And so those are the places to access your power with the subtleties, the nuances. That's what makes you a master. And that's what really makes you shine, because the whole point of shining with this Leonic energy, the lion energy, is that we've removed the obfuscations. We've removed the things that are in our auric field that dim our brightness. Now, you can be a super charismatic person and a narcissist, but you will ultimately be found out, right? Nobody likes that. Even when you're codependent, you're going to figure it out. But there's a real true shining, a real true magnetism. And that comes from cleaning and clearing your auric field. Maybe we're going to do a little bit of that too. All right. So that was kind of my rant on sovereignty. And you can just check yourself, do a little internal checklist around where you stand with that. Are you still holding back your truth about something because you're used to people pleasing or fawning as a way of protection? And so sovereignty has us really step into that truth in a loving way, or in a Vajrayanic way, which is like a clean cut. That's still loving. That doesn't have projection in it. And I think that's the thing we want to acknowledge as healthy. It doesn't have projection in it. It doesn't have my unresolved shadow vomiting onto someone else. Sovereignty can be like that sword cutting, and it also can be from the heart space, because Leo rules the heart. It's got a lot of courage. It rules the heart. So you can see where this new moon is going to give you a new, fresh start. And so that opposition to Pluto, something's going to go in and challenge that. But again, we're letting go of stuff that we really can't take with us, because here is number 2. And this is from Pam Gregory. I really love that she brought this up. She did a video on the 1 to 2 degrees, and she talked about how there are, I made a list, 6 planets right now in the 1 to 2 degree area. That's including the sun and the moon right now. We've got Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. So what does 1 to 2 degrees really signify? The beginning. So we're really getting these opportunities, and we're going to get them again because they're going to go retrograde. Oh, and I think Uranus is in there. Yeah. They're going to go retrograde, and then they're going to come back over that 1 and 2 degree points. So they already crossed over into new signs, right? Then they go back into the old sign at the like letting go, the anaretic degrees of that sign. Then it's like one more pass. You got anything else you want to give up? Because here's your chance. It's like when the airline person goes through the aisle with that last trash bag. That's what that is. So put that shit in the trash bag, because then it's going to go back over that 1 to 2 degree point when it goes direct. That's mostly going to be in 2026. Yeah, all of it in 2026, except for maybe Pluto, but I don't know off the top of my head. And what that means is that we have new, fresh beginnings. So what is this? As Pam Gregory says, this is dress rehearsal time. You know how they say life is not a dress rehearsal? Well, guess what? Right now, it is. I love that. It's a blank canvas. So with the old world being dissolving, crumbling before our very eyes, things that we thought would be around forever, or rules that were in place, whether they're social norms or laws, they're shifting and changing, or admin protocols, like, we don't use Zoom in a health or legal thing. All those things changing, we have the opportunity to really reinvent ourselves from a new mind. Thank you, Uranus in Gemini, coming in from a new mind. Then we've got Neptune. Neptune's retrograde. Neptune's bringing up all these formerly hidden secrets. They're all coming to light now. And so when cleaning it out, it's like cleaning out the garbage, I feel like this Neptune retrograde is doing. Then Neptune's going to go direct and in Aries with Saturn in Aries. And I love that. It's the 1st degree of the zodiac. So it's like totally new way of relating to the divine, of God, of the cosmos. Do you see the gravitas of what we're being prepared for? It's off the charts. And so we can complain. I know I can complain like, oh, this reinvention, it's taking so long. I've already given it, let's see, April, May, June, July, 4 months. It should be done, right? No, it's going to last into 2026, spring, early on. But by May, we're going to be fully in the new, fully in the new. And so why not let this time be a time of experimentation? And that's the third thing I want to say. So now use this time, because you have a blank canvas. And yeah, you're still in the old mind. We all are. We're in the old structures of the old mind, but the new is coming in. So trust your dream space, trust your intuition, try some new things. That's really what we're doing inside the Wise Women Mastermind. We're going to do some crazy things, crazy good things. Someone asked me, what if their risk taking is actually dangerous? And no, we're not going to do dangerous, what I would call insane or stupid things, but we are going to experiment with ways of being that have been inside us already, but we have put the lid on it. So this is your time. This is your moment to do the same. So experimentation, put some new plans into motion. We have some help from Saturn and from Neptune. Yes, they're retrograde. And yes, they're going to show us what the old mind is, what the old way of being, what the old responsibilities are, so that you can let go of them and start to feel into what is new. And Saturn here is good, because it's helping us build new things. It's just not airy fairy rainbows and butterflies that Neptune could take us into this kind of otherworldliness, but it's not. It's going to be grounded with workability because of Saturn. So Saturn's trining this new moon. So we have support, we have help, even though we have this opposition. And just have to look at your chart. You may not even really be affected by it. I'll let you know if there's anything weird that happened over here. I'm moving into a new place right after the new moon. So it'll be actually the frequency of the new moon. That deal has already been set, and we'll see what happens. And it's not my top of list. It's not like the best thing. It's just a workable solution for what I'm up to inside this incubator. So maybe that's the opposition to Pluto. Just sharing that because you might have your own. It may not be drastic. And so we've covered three things. Now I want to cover a fourth and final thing before we do an activation for this new moon. And that is what I'm hearing a lot of the women say is that they want more freedom. And these are wise women. So we're not talking about freedom to do whatever I want any old time. No, we're talking about the freedom to be ourselves. That is so in alignment with this new moon, to be so fully self-expressed. And from my perspective, I was able to step into more and more of full self-expression when I cleared the shadow, because I had a lot of hurts, a lot of defensiveness coming from my childhood that I carried into my teen years and my young adulthood. And it really wasn't until I'm going to say like mid-30s that I got on the spiritual path. And I cried a lot. Like I probably cried for like a decade. And I had a lot of stuff to release. And I would do like, what do you call that? Structural integration or Rolfing. You know how like they spread the tissue on in your body to try to get the fascia from your, I guess, muscles. It hurt so bad. And the one across my heart, I cried for like 24 hours straight after the guy did this Rolfing on my heart. So what I'm saying is that I really couldn't be self-expressed. I really couldn't be in my full purpose because I had so much like think of sticky barnacles in like on a whale, like sticky barnacles that were in my auric field, in my heart, that had to be cleaned out. And really tears, so good, so purifying, so cleansing. It's so many tears to cry and so much shadow work to do to become more integrated. And that's really the point of this intense geometry that we've been in since really 2020. It's just to help us clear and clean this gunk out because we're becoming totally new people. So why won't you build, or why wouldn't you build your new foundation, your life on freedom, on sovereignty, on being completely responsible for your actions, for your words, realizing you are a co-creator, that God Goddess gave you the keys to the kingdom, which is to create through your mouth, through your words. Let there be light. That's a very beautiful Leo statement. To shine brightly. So my friends, it's not a full moon. So we are not in this release mechanism, but we do have some squares. We have a T-square that I talked about already, immutable T-squares with the North Node, the South Node, Mars conjunct the South Node in Venus. And that was like that choice point, that pivot. I talked about it on last week's video. So yeah, there's a lot going on. And then if you put in any of the asteroids or minor planets, then it's even more. And I don't do that, but I'm just sharing with you that it is intense, but the intensity is for a reason. It's to catalyze something new that wants to come forward. I'm going to read actually what Molly McCord said. I think something really beautiful. She said, with the planetary frequencies changing, we are meant to keep pace with those changes at a personal level. And I've said this at the master class on Uranus and Gemini. But actually, if you still want access to it, I'll put the link for it. But here's the thing. So whatever is being transformed in you is ultimately assisting you to a new and higher version of yourself. And what I said in the masterclass is that we don't have collective changes without having individual changes. I mean, that would be impossible because the collective is a series of individuals. So you have to feel this at your own personal level. And indeed, I suspect you do. Everything is changing. Rules about marriage are changing. Ways of doing business are changing. AI is coming forward. New desires. Old ones, no, you're not buying it anymore. It's not what you want anymore. How are we going to be doing business going forward? If you're stuck in business, honestly, give it a minute, because it's going to change so radically that even if you built something, you may have to unbuild it. So just listen deeply. So many women are saying, I'm just tuning in, I'm listening deeply. And that's why it's such an epic time for just super fun experimentation. Try it out. If you had a recipe in mind and you always thought, like, you know what, this could be a really cool gluten-free, high protein bar. I'm just making that up because I would like that. Try it out, make it, distribute it to friends. What do you think? Would you pay $5 for this? I don't know. I'm just saying, get out of your box. Stop arguing for your limitations. This is a new moon in Leo. It has no limitations. It doesn't want them. Yes, you're going to get some things from the outside that are not going to say, yeah, it's a full go, but you're in experimentation mode. You have a canvas. There are no rules. Maybe the thing you need to know is, like, you're listening to this and it's your kid that wants to do it. Maybe you're here to empower your kid to do that, or your grandkid to do that. Why not? Right now, we as midlife women are midwives to the next generation, to the millennials, actually. This is their crisis, not meaning they caused it. They're receiving the brunt of it. So this is called the millennial cyclone, because the millennials are receiving the brunt of this crisis. They are at that exact age. So whatever we can do to support them to shine, maybe that's what we get to do as wise women. All right, I'm on fire. This is fire energy. We have lots of fire, lots of air. So think about rapid change, rapid transformation. This is not sitting around perseverating. This is not yin. This is very yang energy. So you get to be your own feminine in the middle of a very masculine transit that's trying to get this change underway. So I think that's all we get to say for now. I have a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's go into a bit of an activation. And this activation can be of our higher self. So close your eyes if that feels good. Tune into your heart center, maybe tune into your power center, your womb space. Take a deep breath into that space. Settle in. A lot of energy. And so we're going to do something really interesting. We're going to call forth our future self, and she can show up in any way she wants to. So we ask that we have a glimpse of our future self, the woman who has lived through this transit, these changing signs, who is maybe even 20 years from now. And she's looking back at this time, and she's actually smiling. She's saying, wow, that was one special time. I had one foot in one world and another foot in another world. And oh my God, things were crazy. But you know what was so cool? I could be any. I could be any. And you know what? I watched this one video and it told me to be anyone I want and to experiment. And I decided I was going to do that. And I tapped in deeply to what was so true that I couldn't even hear it because of all the noise in my mind. But I finally gave her some spotlight and airtime. And I said, what do you want? And that was the best decision that I ever made because it changed the course of my life. Look at me now. Look at me. I would have never lived like this if I didn't make that decision 20 years ago in that 2025 crazy time. And now I'm an old woman. And I'm so grateful for this life. And so tune into her and let her take form in your mind's eye, in your imagination. Allow her to give you a scent. What comes to your mind immediately as a scent, and smell that scent. Allow her to give you a color. What is the color? And why does she want you to have that scent and that color? And is there anything she wants to tell you? And just receive her loving kindness. Receive her beauty. Receive her wisdom. And allow her to shapeshift and come into your body. Maybe as an element or a figure, just whatever it is, receive it in your body. Allow it to empower you to make the right decisions for you, for your path, for your self-expression, your leadership, your shining, your courage. And give yourself a little hug, squeeze yourself, and open up your eyes. Wow. I've never had a really powerful few minutes as I'm leading it on video. I hope you did too. Please tell me in the chat, what did you hear? What did you see? What was the message? What was the color? What was the scent, the fragrance? Yeah, it's beautiful. I think we're doing a great job. I think we're doing a great job. I know it looks messy and chaotic and like it's going to hell in a handbasket, but I think we're doing a great job. And so take that to heart. So whether you have 20 years left on this planet, 30, 40, 10, it doesn't really matter. Just breathe in your higher self, your future self. Maybe they're one and the same. And let yourself be guided today on this new moon. Make your vows, make your promise, make your intentions. And let's gather all the positive energy that we have generated here and let's beam it out to a world that doesn't know that we're doing a great job, that it doesn't know that it's doing a great job. Wrapping each human in gold light. And may all beings benefit from the merits of our efforts.